Once upon a time, on a cozy little island far across the sparkling sea, there lived a kind 6-year-old girl named Rosie. Her island wasn't like other islands, you see. In the middle stood a friendly volcano that never rumbled or grumbled. Instead, it hummed soft, warm lullabies and puffed out fluffy pink clouds that smelled like strawberries. Rosie lived in a tiny cottage with a round blue door, nestled between swaying palm trees and flowers that glowed softly in the moonlight. Every night before bed, Rosie would sit on her porch and watch the volcano's pink clouds drift across the starry sky, and she always felt safe and happy. One evening, as the sun painted the sky in shades of peach and lavender, Rosie discovered something wonderful hidden beneath her grandmother's old rocking chair. It was a beautiful lantern made of crystal and gold, with tiny stars etched all around it. When Rosie picked it up, it began to glow with the softest, warmest light she had ever seen. Inside the glow, she could see the most wonderful things: children laughing on swings, puppies chasing butterflies, and families sharing warm hugs. Her grandmother smiled and said, "That, my dear Rosie, is the lantern of happy dreams. It shows the beautiful dreams waiting for those who need them most." That very night, the lantern began to flicker in a worried way. Rosie held it close and saw something troubling inside its glow. A little dragon, curled up and sad, sitting alone near the top of the friendly volcano. The dragon's scales looked dull, and tiny teardrops fell from its eyes. "Oh no," whispered Rosie, her kind heart feeling heavy. "Someone needs help." Without a moment's hesitation, Rosie put on her favorite purple boots, tucked the lantern under her arm, and set off up the winding moonlit path toward the volcano. The path up the volcano was gentle and wide, lined with glowing mushrooms that lit the way like tiny nightlights. Friendly fireflies danced around Rosie's head, and the warm breeze carried the sweet scent of vanilla. As she climbed higher, the stars seemed to come closer, twinkling as if cheering her on. "You can do it, Rosie," they seemed to whisper. Rosie was small, and her legs grew tired, but she thought about the sad little dragon and kept walking, one step at a time. She hummed a quiet song her grandmother had taught her, and before she knew it, she had reached the very top. There, sitting beside a pool of gently bubbling warm water, was the most wonderful creature Rosie had ever seen. It was a dragon, no bigger than a large cat, with scales that shimmered like opals in the moonlight. But the dragon looked so very sad. Its wings drooped and its little nose twitched. "Hello," said Rosie softly, kneeling down. "My name is Rosie. Are you okay?" The dragon looked up with big violet eyes full of tears. "My name is Shimmer," the dragon whispered, "and I'm the loneliest dragon in the whole wide world." Shimmer explained that every time he tried to make friends with the other creatures on the island, something embarrassing happened. "You see," Shimmer sniffled, "whenever I feel happy or excited, I sneeze. And when I sneeze—" Just then, a tiny smile crossed Shimmer's face, thinking about Rosie's kindness, and suddenly, achoo! A magnificent burst of glitter exploded from Shimmer's nose, showering everything in sparkles of pink, gold, and silver. Rosie gasped with delight. "That's the most beautiful sneeze I've ever seen," she exclaimed, giggling as glitter settled in her hair like tiny stars. But Shimmer's smile faded. "The other animals think it's too messy," he said sadly. "The bunnies hop away, the birds fly off, and the fish swim to the other side of the lagoon. Nobody wants a friend who covers them in glitter." Rosie sat down beside Shimmer and put her small hand on his shimmering paw. "I think your glitter sneezes are magical," she said firmly. "And I know we can find a way to show everyone how special you are. You just need someone to believe in you." She held up her lantern. "And I have an idea." Rosie remembered that tomorrow was the island's Moonlight Festival, when all the creatures gathered to watch the moon rise over the volcano. "What if—" Rosie said excitedly. We used your glitter sneezes to make the festival the most beautiful one ever. Shimmer's eyes grew wide. But I'm too small to make enough glitter for the whole festival, he said doubtfully. Rosie smiled and squeezed his paw gently. My grandmother always says that even small helpers can do big things. We just have to try. And so, under the twinkling stars, Rosie and Shimmer made a plan together. The next evening, as all the island creatures gathered at the base of the friendly volcano, Rosie led Shimmer to a special spot at the very top. The moon began to rise, round and golden, and everyone below looked up in wonder. Rosie held up her lantern of happy dreams, and it projected beautiful images into the sky, dreams of friendship, of laughter, of warm hugs and cozy nights. Shimmer watched the happy dreams, and his heart filled with so much joy that his little nose began to twitch. Achoo! 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 Three magnificent sneezes sent cascades of glitter streaming down over the festival like a waterfall of stars. The creatures below gasped in amazement. The glitter caught the lantern's light and transformed into 1,000 tiny rainbows, swirling and dancing through the air. Baby bunnies laughed as sparkles landed on their fuzzy ears. Birds sang with joy as their feathers shimmered with color. Even the fish leaped from the lagoon to catch the magical glitter on their scales. It's beautiful, everyone cheered. It's the most wonderful moonlight festival ever. Shimmer couldn't believe his ears. His sneezes weren't a problem at all. They were a gift. After the festival, all the island creatures gathered around Shimmer. Will you be our friend? Asked a tiny bunny with sparkles on her whiskers. Please come play with us tomorrow, chirped a bluebird whose feathers now glittered like jewels. Shimmer looked at Rosie with tears of happiness in his violet eyes. You helped me, he whispered. You're so small, but you did something so big for me. Rosie hugged her new dragon friend gently. That's the secret, she said softly. It's not about being big or small. It's about having a kind heart and believing you can help. Rosie and Shimmer walked slowly back down the moonlit path together, both feeling warm and happy inside. The friendly volcano hummed its gentle lullaby, and the strawberry-scented clouds drifted peacefully overhead. When they reached Rosie's cottage with the round blue door, Shimmer curled up on her porch. Thank you, Rosie, he said with a sleepy smile. You showed me that even the smallest helper can do the biggest, most wonderful things. Rosie yawned widely, her eyes growing heavy as the lantern glowed softly with dreams of tomorrow's adventures. She snuggled into her cozy bed, and Shimmer let out one tiny, gentle sneeze, covering her blanket in the softest golden glitter. As the moon watched over the peaceful island, Rosie smiled, closed her eyes, and drifted off into the happiest, most glitter-filled dreams, feeling loved, brave, and ever so wonderfully sleepy.